Hi Aaron, hi Jason, hello everybody else who isn't Aaron or Jason. Great to see your responses on YouTube. Really enjoyed that. I've not had this kind of dialogue like this before. It's quite a novel experience. Yeah, and there's been some comments as well, and some more questions from Aaron on the wiki and in response to Jason's video. So I'll jump right in. The thing that most strikes me is this kind of balance between idealism and pragmatism. I guess I'm advocating a bit more of a practical approach, and that's really behind the suggestions of video and the open practice hashtag. Is that in terms of building the actual practicalities of building this thing, I would like to see something get made, because then as soon as something is made and out there, then you can start getting real feedback from people who are actually using this thing, and can shatter all our ideas about how people will actually use it. But I also totally agree that we have to have some blue sky thinking, to really go to town on, the potential. What if time and resources weren't an issue, then what could we build here? And I think that's important because we can really figure out what it is that we actually want this thing to do ultimately. And I really like this idea of creating something to help people connect with similar interests. That's I think a good thing to keep focus on. So yeah, I agree that video is setting the bar quite high, and I wouldn't want the site to ultimately to be restricted to that. And the open practice hashtag, this idea that it doesn't actually generate much conversation, it's more just like a logging experience. I think that's very true, and I think if we need to look at, I think so, creating more conversation. So thinking about what it is that we could actually build, I keep going back to this thing of like, well, it's a bit like a dating site. It basically seems to me like a collection of profiles of pictures, biographies, what you're into, what your star sign is. No, not really. What kind of practices you do, what you're looking for from being a part of the site. And something that occurred to me through that is like I don't want like people just joining the site for just like because they can cause havoc, or they're looking for something else other than a kind of connection through spiritual dharma practice, that kind of thing. And one of the things I thought about that, and this connects with the idea of the Facebook application, is making it a requirement that you have a Facebook or a Twitter persona. The Facebook app I'm going to talk about in a different way, because I've used something called Facebook Connect, and there's also a Twitter Connect, which is not so it's making a Facebook or Twitter application, but it's not located on Facebook.com or Twitter.com. These Connect tools simply allow you to piggyback profile data. So for very easily and very cheaply, you can get a profile picture, a name, a birthday, interests, location, all these kinds of things straight away, and you can very quickly make a profile, and all someone would have to do is add these extra things that are more to do with practice. And I think that might help filter out some of the wheat from the chaff and people who really want to be there, because of course an online persona is something that it's taken you a while to store up, that you put a lot of value in, and it's much harder to fake the history of an online persona, and so requiring Twitter or Facebook might help filter out some people who are not genuine. But of course, then again, this raises the bar. So it's just a point I'm putting out there. And I'll just go make a detour quickly onto location. So this would, I think, definitely should be one of the things that people should fill out, where they physically are in the world. But at the same time, my mind went off a little bit into, like, I mean, I don't know if this is what you were referring to, Aaron, in your YouTube comments and elsewhere. The idea of sit with me branded meetups. It sort of makes it feel a little bit institutional for me, or something, that that sit with me might develop its own sort of prescriptive approach to the Dharma. That I don't think that's what we're talking about, but that's definitely a direction I wouldn't want to see sit with me going in. I'd want to see it as simply a totally detached means of just helping people to meet each other. And if they want to then meet up in real life together, then that's great if it supports that. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. And then yeah, so there's another point from Jason about the aesthetic of the web, and how I think this is a really good point about how the web is something that is a lot more familiar to a certain generation, my generation and younger, than walking into a meditation group, a yoga group, a religious temple or something. I think the web could be actually a really good way of introducing, some of the basic attitudes, practices and approaches of the Dharma and similar practices. And I think that is more like the website. The website is the location for meetups. That the website is providing that first point of contact with other people, so that they then might go on to meet up in real life. Okay, so then there's a final point about the Buddhist angle, which Aaron, you'd mentioned in the wiki, and some other points around this, like should it be Buddhist? Should it support other approaches to spiritual practice? My answer to that is that I think, and this is a broader point as well, that it should just reflect the people who use it at the moment. So say at the moment, it should just reflect our particular approaches. And so for me personally, I identifying as a Buddhist is not so important to me. I don't formally belong to any tradition, so I wouldn't consider having a formal Buddhist flavour to it important. But if that's what other people are into, yeah, then that's perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. And so there's a broader point there of, like, let's build this so that we find it useful, so that it's immediately being put to use. So what can we build that will just help us here? And so that's keeping it grounded and giving us results straight away. Okay, that's about all I have to say. Please don't. I feel like you don't videos. Don't worry about making a video in response. It's perfectly okay to carry this conversation on through the wiki, through Twitter, blog posts, or whatever. But if you want to make a video as well, that's fine. Alright, great chatting to you. See you around. Bye.